The Kingdom of England, with roughly the same exact borders as today, originated in the 10th century. It was created when the West Saxon kings extended their power over southern Britain. Throughout the many generations gone by, this relatively small island has been violently fought over. It has changed hands many times, and millions of people have died in the process. But even after all this change, one thing has always remained a constant: terrifying tales, and plenty of them. Folklore, mythology, fact or fiction, these tales have remained unchanged for centuries. Werewolves, dogmen, fae folk, ghosts, aliens, wild men, and much more have all been etched into our ancient history forever. But are they true? You guys decide. This forest just seems very devoid of life. I mean, I know it's winter, or the back end of winter, so times have been hard for the birds and stuff, but you'd expect to at least hear one bird or some kind of wildlife. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Coming into a clearing now, and spin you guys around. You can see it's the same scenario, lots of big trees being bowled over. We're going to keep pushing on this way through this clearing and see if we can rejoin the woods somewhere else. I have to keep my eye on Lily because she keeps disappearing as well, and I don't want to lose her. But so far so good. It's not cold, believe it or not. It's very, very foggy. There is like a low-lying mist running through this forest right now, but there's no cold. Like, it's quite mild. So I recently watched Dog Soldiers for the very first time. Now, there's going to be a lot of people here on the channel throwing things at the TV right now saying, how did you make it this far into life without ever seeing Dog Soldiers? Especially given the things that I talk about. But no, I did. About a week or two ago, I thought I'll sit down and I'll watch Dog Soldiers. It was really entertaining. I liked it. And if anyone's got any more recommendations for movies that are very similar, then please do comment below in the comments box, because I am trying to bring myself up to speed with some of these related movies, related books, anything that's on the genre of dogmen, Bigfoot, extraterrestrials and UFOs. If you guys have seen anything or read anything that you think I might be interested in, then please do comment below, because yeah, I'm starting to seek out these things that people keep talking about, because a lot of the time I don't really have the time to watch these things. But with it being the festive season and over the Christmas period, once the kids were in bed, I thought I'm going to watch this. And now standing here in this woods, you're right, a lot of you over the years that have commented saying you wouldn't be in those woods if you'd seen Dog Soldiers. Well, I would, but it's definitely giving it a new feel, that's for sure. So my plan, or the intention for today's video, is to wait for nightfall, get myself backed up into a corner somewhere in this woodland, and bring out the EMF reader for a little bit, have a play around with that, and openly ask some questions to any energies, any entities, or anything else that we're unaware of here right now with us, and see if we get a response. A lot of people might laugh at that. A lot of people might think, oh, you're just talking a load of hocus pocus, stupid stuff, but the results say otherwise. And that, along with many other people's first-hand accounts, leads me to believe that there are things that we can't see, there are things that we are living amongst, that we can't just explain what just happened. Just as I said that, the screen's gone all weird. I'm not sure if that's showing up on the actual recording, but where I'm looking at myself on the screen now, half of the screen has just gone completely pale white. Weird. Never mind. Yeah, I was just saying that there are things that we live amongst that we can't just pull out from the blue whenever we want because someone's asking us to prove it. It doesn't work like that. If it did, then I wouldn't be making these videos because everybody would already openly accept it. And I wish it did. I wish it did work like that, but then, do I really? Because where would the mystery be? The mystery would be solved, and we never like to solve mysteries. We like to get close, but it's the chase for some of us that we really like, and I'm one of those. I'm one of those people. I do like the mystery. I do like asking the questions that we don't have the answers for yet. If we ever did discover Bigfoot, if we ever did discover UFOs and extraterrestrials occupying this planet alongside us, I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't be sulking. I wouldn't be thinking, oh, well, there goes my day job. I'd be thinking, well, if they exist, and for a long time people said they never, where does it stop? What else exists? Because at that point, the roof is blown off and all possibilities are out the window. Like, anything is possible.
There is nothing as scary as silence, especially when you're alone in the middle of nowhere. Your own thoughts can get the best of you. You wonder sometimes if your mind is playing tricks. You can never be sure if someone or something is looking over your shoulder. Anybody who has ever spent time living alone in the woods has a creepy story to tell. You only have to spend 5 minutes on Reddit to see how many nature enthusiasts have encountered something seriously creepy while living out in the woods.
Good girl. Good girl. There's something beautiful about being out in these places, especially when you haven't been out for a while. You seem to forget how much you actually miss being out and filming and talking to you guys. Hopefully this year there's lots more of this to come. Do you know who I'd really like to sit down and have a talk to? Is the people that operate in these areas on a daily basis. People like game wardens And if we're talking about places like the coast, Flamborough Head and Bempton, then obviously people that work out at sea, fishermen, trawler, whoever operates in these areas and knows them intimately, I would love to sit down and talk to those people, but it's usually the case. You always find that these people don't want to talk or don't want to open up about these subjects. They still find it a bit taboo, unless, of course, they have had an experience. Then you might be able to break through the chinks in their armour. But yeah, I've never really been able to track any of these people down, which is silly because, you know, there's tons of fishermen on the East Coast. There's tons of people that go out there on the boats, on fishing trips and crabbing, etc. And here in this location, on the North Yorkshire Moors, there'll be game wardens, there'll be farmers that own this private land or parts of these private bits of land. And it's just, where do you find them? Like, you can't go on Facebook. I can't write a status saying, look, I'm looking to speak to anyone. Or maybe I can. Maybe that's just in my head, thinking that I can't do that. But I really would. I'd like to sit down and speak to these people. Because I've no doubt that they have had experiences. Like, strange things have probably happened at one point. And who knows, maybe they don't even know that it's that strange. Maybe they've just brushed it off and thought no more of it. But for people like me and you, when we join all the dots together, we know that what their experience was about was something much larger than just, it was just a strange noise, or it was just a weird light. Just look at the amount of chaos that's taking place in this one small segment of woods. There's just trees laid up on top of trees. You know, it's just absolute chaos. This definitely wouldn't be a wood that I choose to camp in at any point, because, I mean, look how unpredictable this place is. Even the biggest of trees that you would expect to never be upturned are lying flat. So yeah, I would never choose this place to pitch up camp, ever. It's too dangerous. I've got some really big plans that I'm super excited for coming forward this year, and I'm really excited to take you guys along with me. I'd like to get back to Rendlesham Forest at least twice. I'm not sure why I said twice, I'm just throwing that number out there, but it is such a good place that you could keep going back multiple times to still create really good content. I mean, I'm never going to top the last video that we did there, me and Junior. Never. That's never going to be done. That is a once-off thing. You know, to get rugby tackled, roughed up, and almost arrested and have all your equipment confiscated behind the perimeter fence of Rendlesham. You know, the world famous, the world renowned base where it all happened in 1980. For that to happen and for me to walk away with all that footage still intact to share with you guys was absolutely a miracle in itself. That was just a one-off. That's never going to happen again like that. And but for me, it's not about that. Rendlesham itself is just a fascinating place. When me and Junior was there, if you take away the whole scaling the perimeter fence and getting chased by the military and rugby tackle to the floor, if you take away all that, that video would have still been watchable. I mean, the woods itself was creepy. We found lots of abandoned shelters that, you know, I say abandoned, but they still looked like they were being heavily used. One of them had a Bible in there was a bed. Someone had just literally taken the socks and shoes off and looked like they'd gone for a walk in the woods somewhere when we stumbled across it. So it was very, very creepy. Lots of weird and interesting people by the look of it, living out in those woods, practicing whatever kind of meditations or witchcraft they believe. So yeah, you take away the drama of that last video that we did at Rendlesham, it would have still been a good video, nowhere near as good as it was, but I still want to go back. It's a fascinating place, and who knows what may come of that trip if we do go again. So that's just one of the places that I'm going to go back to. I'd like to get abroad as well, you know. I'd like to go to some of these foreign countries, and if I pack my tent, my camping stuff, I really only need money for the flights. You know, if I take enough food and stuff, I could go for a weekend. I know that sounds stupid to some people, but I'm all about having experiences this year. I want to experience life. I want to really push this YouTube stuff because it fascinates me still now like it did when I first started. And whenever you're 5 years into something and you still have that same passion, that same interest, you know that that is your calling. Don't get me wrong, there's down times where I think, why am I doing this? Like, are people still enjoying the content that I make? And I question myself and I question my ability. But overall, down the long stretch, I know that this is what I really, really love to do, is to be in these areas of high strangeness, these hotspots for many strange reports, and pass on any of my findings to you guys. That is where my heart lays. And I've met so many nice people on this journey, and I'm continuing to meet so many nice people that I don't want it to stop. So I'm really going to push hard this year, trying to visit as many places as I can and document as much as I can. Now, there will be some videos that are better than other videos, and there are going to be some videos that are worse than previous videos. That's just the way it is. That's just YouTube. I'm going to get past this whole stigma within my head that says every video has to be better than the last. I'm going to get over that, and I'm going to start thinking content, because I know that that's what you guys care about. You guys care that I'm being consistent and I'm showing up every fortnight with content in these areas. And that to me is the utmost important thing. So yeah, stay tuned. The child's balloon there, birthday balloon by the look of it. It's amazing how many of these things that you find in the wild. You know, when you're out in nature and you're exploring, you could be in the most remote place and you're pushing through trees and overgrown vegetation to get to where you are at. And you'll find one of these things and it's like, how the hell did that end up here? Like, what is the story behind this? It's clearly a girl by the look of it. It's a pink one, but how old was this? Like the celebrations of a newborn? A 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 5-year-old? We don't know, but yeah, it always makes you think, like, in depth when you find something like this. Just a child's balloon lying in the middle of the woods. I mean, look where we are. You know, and even if you look at the canopy, how the hell did that thing come down here? It's crazy. I do tend to pick these up, just for anyone that's wondering. On my way out, I'll pick this up, put it in my bag, and remove this from the area. But I can't lie, I do like to find them. It's just, imagine if this was like a post-apocalyptic world. There's only me around and you come across something like this. Imagine the emotions this would conjure up, because the story behind just something as simple as a balloon, there's a lot of meaning behind that. And it meant something to someone at some point, somewhere, so, yeah. Hi guys, this is a 2-day time elapse. So from the footage that you've just been watching, 2 days have elapsed. And the reason being is that I ran into some technical difficulties with my phone, the GoPro, and Lily just being a complete annoyance. I don't know what spooked her, but she wouldn't settle all night. And yeah, it was very, very strange. My phone and the image quality just went downhill rapidly. It was becoming all glitchy. At one point there was a white mist that appeared on the image, and I thought that maybe that was to do with the low-lying fog. Maybe condensation had got behind the camera lens or something like that. But it doesn't make sense, because my phone has a case on, it's weather sealed, and I've never had that issue before, ever. But yeah, we ran into that issue. I pulled the GoPro out, hoping to make do with just the GoPro, and that wouldn't even turn on, even though it was fully charged before I left the house. So yeah, it didn't make sense. It was really annoying. And by the time I got Lily back, because she wouldn't settle all night, she was really skitty, and eventually, I'm not sure whether she picked up on a scent, but she darted and didn't come back for a good hour or so. So by the time I got her back, I was really cheesed off, and I decided to call it a night, dropped the tarp and headed home. So 2 days have elapsed from what you've just been watching. It is now Friday the 13th. I'm not sure if this is synchronicity working at its best, you know, and trying to call me back on a day that is more significant for creepy things. But here I am, Friday the 13th, 2 days later. We're back again in the same location, and we're going to do an overnight explore. We're going to try and cover as much of this ground as we can. There's a river that I want to head towards, because if anything is living or frequent in this area from wherever else, then it's going to need a water source. You guys kick back, relax, and enjoy.
I often get asked if I'm ever scared while exploring overnight here on my own. The truth is that if you're not scared, or at least a little bit apprehensive about why you're here, then you're either extremely closed off from your emotions or completely oblivious to the reports that are coming from this area. Anybody who doesn't feel uneasy after reading reports of something lurking in the darkness, observing people with a height of over 7 feet and glowing red eyes, must really be of a different mindset.
Right guys, this is where the investigation will start from tonight. We will be setting off from this location in roughly less than 1 hour. But before we head out hot on the trails of anything that might be lurking in this surrounding area, I'm going to get a hot drink on and go through the transitional phase. A lot of you guys here on the channel that have been regular members or subscribers for a while now, you will have heard me talk numerous times about this transitional phase. It's something that I learned in the army, and it's super important for any investigator, anybody trying to become one with nature throughout the night, because it's the part of day where day becomes dusk, dusk becomes night, and the lighting changes completely. This can throw many people off as the contrast in the woods becomes deeper, darker, more rich. It can really start to fool our eyes and our imagination. So we need to sit through this and transition with the day, through dusk into night. Just like the animals would in this area as well. You know, all the daytime animals now, they're heading away for the night, and the nighttime animals are coming out. We need to do the same. We need to become part of nature and absorb as much of the energy, as much of the atmosphere, and listen out for any of those nature sounds that are familiar, but sometimes also unfamiliar. Once we've absorbed all of this and we've gone through that transitional phase, we'll then start to head out, because our eyes will be accustomed to the light at that time. Right now, if I head out, because there's still light hitting my eyes from the day and from the light above me in the tree canopy, once I get into the deep dark woods, the contrast changes so dramatically, as you can see. You will start to think that an upturned root ball is a Bigfoot. You'll start to think that there's some kind of a light in the distance. It's just so confusing for an investigator or anyone, even a hiker or a camper, to do that. You need to you need to allow yourself time to adjust. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a hot drink on, go through this transitional phase, and then head out on tonight's investigation. Just to give you guys a heads up, in case you do see any light in the distance, I'm going to change Lily's light on her collar tonight. I think we'll put it on red. Lily, come here. Good girl. So we're going to change this to red. If you guys see any red light darting in and out of the trees, then rest assured that is just Lily and her collar. For obvious reasons, where we are, I need some kind of light aid to figure out where she is. But we're going to have this on red, and yeah. What is it? I've just heard a man-made sound which always terrifies me, and it was a device of some kind. It was a device of some kind going like a phone or some kind of camera. I don't know what the hell that was, but it was definitely man-made. It was like a beeping. Lily's obviously heard something as well. That was very weird. It was a distinctive beep, like when you turn some cameras on, especially some of these small portable cameras, you'll get a beep that goes or something like that, and it was repeated like 2 or 3 times. Lily. Very strange, but it's unnerved me a little bit. Anyway, I've just got this cup of this tea bag in. I'm just going to get this drank, and like I've said, we are going through the transitional phase now, so not too much longer, and we'll be setting off through the woods alone. Wish me luck. So this is what I'm going to have. This is a Tetley's flavoured tea. This is super fruit boost with a vitamin B6. Something that I've recently started getting into is flavoured teas. It's nothing I've really been interested in before, but yeah, I seem to really enjoy them. So I've brought this with me. Hopefully this will get me through the night tonight and give me that bit of energy, that bit of a kick that I'll need. And I'll let you guys know what I think. For anybody wondering why Friday the 13th is considered unlucky, it's because the Last Supper was held on a Thursday and there was 13 people there. Jesus and his 12 disciples, one of which was called Judas, who betrayed Jesus. Now the following day was Friday, and that's when Jesus got crucified on the cross. So Friday the 13th, according to biblical superstition, is considered very unlucky. Right guys, it's about that time. Time to leave now and get on with this investigation. Now I'm about to start making my way through the forest and head towards the beck. I just want to remind people as well, you know, that are maybe new to the channel or don't know about this area. This is an area that has a hell of a lot of strange reports. Reports that suit all types of imagination. We've got the cryptids, the UFO and extraterrestrial phenomena being reported here. I've picked up things in the past on previous videos gone by that could easily be described as paranormal. So there's many different aspects of the phenomena all taking place here. And if you're like me and you believe that somehow it's all linked, then it only makes it that more fascinating. At the start of this video, I told you about the history alone that has happened in this area. How many walks of life, how many different cultures and races of people have been here, fought to the death, and left again. You know, it's just a very strange place, full of history, full of weird reports. And here I am alone in the middle of the forest, trying to make sense of it all. This is what we love to do, guys. This is what it's all about. Boots on the ground, first-hand accounts, getting out there and actually doing the research. This is what it's all about. That's a bird, thank God. It sounded like some kind of a creepy laugh. Right, we're going to set off and I'll check back in with you guys soon. So hopefully you guys now can hear that noise in the background. That is the sound of running water behind me, which would signify that we are now in the right location at the beck to start tonight's investigation. From this point on, my plan is to follow the beck in this direction as far as we can, covering quite a fair few miles tonight and stopping off at random points along the way. We're going to jump up on the embankment, sit there and absorb some of the strange noises that may be occurring around us, but also checking that embankment where the wet soil is for ground sign and such things like footprints, because if anything is using this waterway, this beck, as a marker, a way to navigate, or even just drinking from it, crossing it, whatever it may be, chances are it will have stepped in some of that wet soil, leaving a print. If that is the case, then tonight hopefully we can document some of that. Steady on, Will. Going too fast. Up, Lily. Steady. Whoa. Shit. 1 second, though. 1 second. Fuck. it? What the hell? The light stopped working. Lily, stop. Jeez. Right. Backup torch. This is great, sat in the dark. I've just fallen down the embankment on my ass. Lily was going too fast. Now the light's gone off. 1 second. I'm trying to stand up, but my leg's tucked underneath me. I need to get my secondary torch out. Where the hell is it? Oh, God. What the hell? Where is my torch? Right. Stay there, love. Don't go too fast. For some reason, my torch turned off. Go. Go. Stay, Lily, stay. The stars are out. This way, love. Lily, up. No. This way. Good girl. I'm going this way, love. No, Lily, stay. Stay. Why would you go in the water, you numpty? Come on, this way. Stay. Stay. hate it whenever there's a ridge, because you always hear about these stories, you know, like eyes just looking down the ridge, from the top of the ridge back at you, or, you know, just something even stood up there, even if it's human, would be scary right now. Imagine seeing like another dog walker up there that you just didn't expect to see in an area like this. It would be terrifying. So I've just come a little way away from the water so it's not so loud. And I was thinking as I'm walking through this area and I'm overstepping logs and sliding down embankments, how dangerous, and, you know, it's chaos here because of all the trees that are fallen, all the ditches and rivets in the ground. What the hell was that? Lily, come. That are fallen, all the ditches and rivets in the ground. What the hell was that? Lily, come. She's obviously heard something as well. What the hell was that? Her ears have gone right up. What is it? Stay. What I was saying was, on my way up here, moving away from the water so I could talk to you guys, I was thinking, I have to have a torch on. I have to, because it's just too dangerous to make my way, you know, through this terrain without any kind of light on. So I need a torch on. But then it made me realise that I can't see past that torch. In fact, you know, I'm blind to everywhere but where the light is shining. But everything around me, 360 degrees, can see me. That is a really big disadvantage that made me feel very uneasy. And it's like now, I'm talking to you guys, the light is over here to my left. I can't see behind the camera. Behind the camera right now, when I look off into the distance, it's pitch black. There could literally be something stood there only a few meters away from me, and I wouldn't know. That is a very uneasy feeling. But we press on. I've not seen any ground signs yet. I've heard one or two strange noises, hopefully the one I've just heard over there in the woods. Just because to the right of me there is where the wood starts again. And Lily obviously heard what I thought I'd heard. But other than that, I'm trying to keep logical. I'm trying to stay calm. But you guys have to be considerate of where I am. And understand that sometimes keeping a clear head and calm is not always easy. But it's needed, it's necessary. There's a lot of talk here in the UK about a Bigfoot, and, you know, a lot of the American fan base that I have wonder or question if it's possible. And I think that sometimes it's really easy to be dragged into saying, yes, Bigfoot here in the UK is the same as Bigfoot in the Northwest, in the Pacific Northwest. To me, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but to me, that is just not the case. Like, I don't think that we have the landmass. We have remote areas. We have large areas where, you know, there's no population of people for miles on end. But I find it hard to believe. For me, it's got to be something extraterrestrial. And I'm a massive believer in other species of extraterrestrials visiting Earth. I really, really am. And I just think that the whole spectrum of what they might look like will be so varied that it could look like a Bigfoot. That could be possible. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's flesh and blood, you know, it's permanently located here on Earth. I don't believe that. And I'm a big believer that when people see Bigfoot and they report seeing these strange orb-like lights before or after, strange smells, they say that the Bigfoot had some kind of mind speak, like telepathy. these are all commonly transferred over into the UFO extraterrestrial phenomena as well, which is linked, in my opinion. You've got people here in the UK that say all the phenomena is linked, whether it be paranormal, cryptids, the UFOs and extraterrestrials, it's all linked. And in some ways I agree. Like, I don't think, in my mind, that they're all oblivious to each other. Does Bigfoot know about UFOs? Are UFOs aware of a Bigfoot walking through the forest of the Pacific Northwest? I think yes. I do. I honestly think yes. I don't think that they're all situated here permanently all year round. You know, a lot of people will argue that and say that they migrate. That's why we don't see them at certain times of year. And everybody's got their own opinion, which makes this a very fascinating story and a very fascinating phenomena. One that I love researching. One that I show a big interest in. I just don't think they're here permanently. I think that I don't know what the rules are behind this. I don't know what causes them to come through to this dimension or this world, or to visit at certain times. I don't know what the rules are behind this. I just don't think they're situated here permanently. But this is where it gets weird, because I'm only saying that about the Bigfoot phenomena. When we talk about extraterrestrials, I do believe that some are situated here permanently. Why is that? Why does my brain allow me to believe that extraterrestrials are held up in some kind of deep underwater cavern somewhere here on Earth permanently, but a Bigfoot type creature couldn't be? I don't know. This is the conflict that I'm at with myself all the time. And I think that part of being a researcher, part of being someone that's open-minded, someone who thinks outside the box, needs that. We need to be questioning ourselves and asking, well, why do I believe that but not this? Why is that possible for me but I can't get my head around that? We need to be doing that because it's challenging ourselves. If we think that we're right all the time, if we think that we've got all the answers and that we know why certain phenomena do certain things, we're just kidding ourselves. And we're holding ourselves back, as well as everybody else that we're speaking to. And especially with people like me on YouTube that have got quite a large following, it's untrustworthy, disloyal, dishonest and disrespectful in some sense to fool people and try and make people believe that I have all the answers. One thing I've never done is try and make you believe that I have all the answers. I've always been open with you, even to the point of saying that, you know, sometimes I'll get it wrong. Sometimes in my videos people, they slate me for nothing happening. That's because I can't make things happen. I'm a real researcher in real locations where real reports are coming from, and I can only give you what happens in real time. If nothing happens, we don't get nothing. If you want to be, you know, if this isn't for you, you want to go to one of those channels where they're doing jump scares and they're throwing things in there and faking things, then sounded like a tree's just falling down. Sorry guys, I was going off on a bit of a tangent there, but I feel like some of what I spoke about just then was necessary. I'm getting some noises coming off in the distance now. I'm not sure whether keeping the light on is a good idea or a bad idea. I guess that's a good question. Would anything be curious of the light, or would it stay well away from the light? Who knows how these things work? Like, who knows? What the hell is that? It's okay, Lily. It's okay. That is at some distance, but Lily, come. Lily.
As the night progressed, I listened back over that footage multiple times. I was more convinced now than ever that what I had recorded was the sounds of howling. This could have potentially been dogs far off in the distance, but with my anxiety already in a state of overdrive and Lily showing me clear signs of distress, I decided to hit the road and call it a night.